welcome to the Pharaoh and Joseph strategy. This is our second webinar and it's an interesting moment. And I know we have been unlocking success and fulfillment through result-driven strategies, deep conversations, foresights, and result-driven approaches. All these are geared towards to making you a better person. All these are geared towards making you to be able to live above the circumstances we have found ourselves, to be able to live an effective life. So the question is that we are looking at strategies that works. The strategies that works. These are ancient wisdom for wealth creation. Strategies that works. We're not here to talk theory. We are here to share with you proven insights that are working, that can help you to fulfill your destiny, that can help you to stay afloat, that can help you increase your income, that can help you to discover yourself. So if you are joined in this webinar, I want to assure you are going to get value for your time. You are going to get value for your time. Family? No, remember how I used to say it? Hello, family. This is your moment. Yes. So get your book and your paper, and I want you to get on and we'll step on. So today we're going to be asking that question. How are you surviving? How are you surviving? How are you surviving is the question. Looking at the Nigerian economy, looking at the prices of things, the prices of foodstuffs, looking at the cost of fuel, looking at the cost of transportation, the question is, how are you surviving? How are you coping with the system? How are you coping with the present government? Are you being swept off? Are you wiping away your savings, or are you able to stay afloat? In case you are asking that question, what do I need to do to stay afloat in this challenging time? Not only to stay afloat, but to stay above. Then this webinar is for you. This webinar is for you. Is to share with you ancient wisdom, to share with you strategies that work. Now we see the situations where we find ourselves. Like I said initially when I was starting the Nigerian economy. What is the price of fuel? The price of fuel is now close to 1,000 naira. In some places they say 900. What is the price of cooking gas? What is the price of what is the exchange rate as of today? As the naira is now depreciating again, and we are getting back, and the dollar is getting stronger. We are now getting back again to dollar, moving to 1,500 naira to a dollar. Good. So the purchasing power of the average man is actually getting down day by day. Now I remember when I was serving, I was going for a national conference. I took a flight from Uyo to Abuja. How much? My to and fro flight was just in a sketch of 70,000 naira. Now you can't even get a one-way flight on 100,000, 110,000. It's now becoming difficult for you to get a flight. How many people can afford a flight? How many people can afford to pay for a flight ticket? How many people can afford? It's now a luxury. And that was why, if you look at the social class hierarchy, if you look at the pyramid of social class, you will find out that the middle class is actually disappearing. When you look at that hierarchy, you see that there is a widening gap between the poor and the rich. The rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. And it's the truth. And you must understand that to overcome poverty is not a gesture of charity. It is an act of justice. You need wealth. You need it. Even if you don't need it, at least for the sake of the kingdom of God. For the sake of the kingdom. Remember, the gospel is so heavy and it requires wealth to lift it up, according to Apostle Joshua Selman. The kingdom of God is so heavy that it requires wealth to be able to lift it up. For instance, the crusades that is going on in different parts of the world requires millions of naira, millions of dollars to be able to cater for these conferences, to be able to cater for these crusades. And if you look at it now, you find out that, like I said, that there is a widening gap between the poor and the rich. Yes, there is a widening gap between the poor and the rich. The middle class is fine. The middle class is disappearing. Before now, we used to have what is called the middle class. The middle class are those who may be on a salary of 300, 200, and they are living in a flat. They have a car. When they want to travel, they can pick it, they can book their flights and they can go to and fro. They just live a comfortable life. They can afford some of the basic things that the rich can afford. They can get what the rich could get. They can go to where the rich could go to. Some of them can even afford to go on a vacation. But how many people, how many middle class people can afford it? I told you that the cost of flight now from Lagos to Abuja is around 110, 120,000 naira. So if you are booking boats going and coming, your return fare, you're talking about 240,000 naira one person. So you see that the people who were presumed to be middle class are now taking bus with the poor. They now have to shuttle inside the bus. How many people are still taking their vehicles to office? How many people still goes to work with their vehicle? So you see there is a widening gap between the poor and the rich, and that is why we are discussing this issue of how are you surviving? How are you surviving? The cost of house rent is on the increase. Many house rents now in Lagos is 2 point something million naira, Abuja 4 million, 5 million. You can even see two-bedroom flats 3 million. And we are wondering how are people going to live in a conducive environment, owning to the way things are becoming. Many of us saw a bag of rice move from 8,000 to 80,000 naira, a bag of rice. So it is becoming extremely difficult. That is why you need this wisdom. That is why we need to discuss this ancient wisdom. That is why we need to glean some knowledge from our brother Joseph. We are looking at the strategies that work in the ancient time that can work for us. Now, before we look at that, we must actually try to look at and understand. Now, the same way we have this, the rich have their strategy, the poor also have their strategy. So now we're going to look at the strategies of the poor. What are the strategies that the poor that keeps making them to remain poor? What are those strategies that the poor man has discovered that has kept him or her where he is, where she is, that has reduced development, that has reduced capacity development. Now we are looking at the strategies of the poor. And I want you to take note. You may actually find out that your strategy is playing out here. You may find out that your own strategy is here. Number one is my children is my investment. You hear your parents say, I'm sending you to school so that at old age you be my retirement fee, you are my pension. That is why I'm sending you to school. If you have that mindset, that means you will not survive this season. I get a lot of people say, oh, I've tried my best. Things are not working out for me, but I know my children. And I want to ask you a question. If it is so difficult for you, if the economy is like this, how is it going to be in the next 5, 10 years, 15 years? Can you think? Can you think how it's going to be? If our parents say that we are their investment, and here we find ourselves struggling with an economy, struggling with the system, how do you think your children are going to cope? How do you think your children are going to survive if your children, if you have that mindset, if you think that your children are your investment, when you are thinking those thoughts, you are thinking poverty thinking thoughts. Poverty thinking thoughts. You cannot make progress with that kind of a thought. And you are even going against the scriptures. Now, let's go to the ancient scriptures to get wisdom that is going to happen. The Bible said that a good man leaveth inheritance for his children, even his children's children. So, if you have a thought that your children are your investment, you are going against the Bible. Because if that means you are a bad man. A bad man is who you are. So, in the sight of God, God is classifying you as a bad man. When you see your children as an investment, heaven is seeing you as a bad man. Do you want to be a bad man or do you want to be a good man? A good man will leave inheritance for their children. So, if you want to survive this period, you must come out of that thought. You must stop thinking that thought. You must stop saying your children are your investment. And it gives you the leverage to work extra hard because you know you are leaving investments, you are leaving inheritance for your children and not the other way around. You begin to plan your pension, you begin to plan your retirement, you begin to plan your future, and then you are not putting it on your children. Now, what are the next strategy of the poor? Is one day go better. We procrastinate it. One day go better. You see somebody, he's telling you one day is go better, and he's not doing anything. He's not He's not changing his mindset. He's not reading books. He's not going for conferences. He's not going for trainings. He's just telling you one day you go better. Can I tell you? I have a good news for you. I'm sorry to be a to be a bearer of this bad news. It will not get better if you don't change. It will not get better if you don't change. And thank God you are here to seek for knowledge, to seek for wisdom, to seek for instructions. And as you apply them, you are going to see that things are going to start changing. Now, the next strategy of the poor is that what everybody is a Yahoo boy. I was discussing with one of my friends, and then you know what he told me? He said to me that um, every guy that because the person just graduated and then the person is a Yahoo. Everybody's not a Yahoo boy. There are people who are working for their money. There are people who are laboring for their money. Don't have that mindset that anybody who lives in a decent house, drives a decent car, the person is a Yahoo boy. You know, every all of us know about but the picture of the guy in this place, this photo, that was living a luxury life. Not everybody is a Yahoo boy. Not everybody is a Yahoo girl. Not everybody. Don't ever, if you have those thoughts, those mindsets, it will keep you down. It will keep you from working. It will keep you from making progress. It will give you reason to stay down. It will give you reason to stay poor. It is an encouragement, it's an indictment for you to stay lazy. It's an indictment on your ability to work hard. Not everybody is into that. There are people who have legitimate hustle that are surviving. Now, there are next set of people. He's from a rich home. Oh, he has gotten the job. He's from a rich home. Oh, he knows somebody. Oh, one thing I've discovered is that when it works for us, it is favor, it is God's blessing. But when it is working for others, it is I am, it's him and that they put it in Igbo language. So when you see another person making progress, we are quickly to what? To resonate the fact that he's from a rich home. No, don't those mindsets will make you not to work hard. It makes you to live to faith. It makes you to live your life to faith. And it makes you to live your life to think that everyone who is succeeding by luck. You see people who say he's succeeding by luck. If it is luck, then why don't you go and get the luck? You could see those who believe that, oh, the person is plucking money from one tree. That is why he's surviving. There is one tree where he's plucking money from. If you must survive, the strategies that keeps the poor is that they think that everybody who is making progress is luck. That is why they have given up. They don't want to try again. They don't want to work hard again. They don't want to apply again. They don't want to take a step again. They believe that he is lucky. Create your own luck. If you think everybody is lucky, create your own luck. If you think everybody is plucking money from a tree, plant your own tree and begin to pluck your own money. The next category of people are those who say prayer will do everything. They attend every prayer meeting, they attend every program. But I want to ask you a question. If you keep doing something over and over and over again, don't you know you're going to get the same results? Prayer, prayer is the key. But do you know that there are things to do? There are, in as much as you put the key to open the door also has a handle that you need to open it. So you must understand that prayer will not do everything. As you pray, make sure. No, there was something I heard from Pastor Debo many years ago that changed my life. He said, if assuming he comes on a dry ground and begin to say, "Rice grow, rice grow, rice grow," not a fertile ground, do he said that's what a lot of Christians are doing. We don't pay our tithes. We don't do kingdom investment. We don't save. We just keep on thinking, pray, we receive, I receive. Apart from praying, there are things you must do. There are things required of you. And I know for many brethren, for many Christians, you may not like this, but that's the truth. As you pray, there are other things you are going to that is expected of you. Now, there are other strategies. Knowing everything about poverty, lack, and stagnation. We have a mindset. We know why you are poor. You can tell yourself, this is it. And then a lot of people they borrow and they don't pay back. They borrow, they don't pay back. These are strategies that keep you poor. And that is why we are here for you to change your mindset, change your reasoning so that you can begin to get a different result. Now we are going to go back to the questions we asked. How do you survive in this economy? How do you survive in this economy? Simply do something different. Yes, I say do something different. If you want to survive in this economy, you must do something different. You must do something different. Yes, there are things that God has placed inside of you that can actually make you live better. I used to tell people that we have three categories of talent. We have the primary talent, we have the secondary talent, and we have the tertiary talent. So the primary talent are those things that you have found yourself, you can do those things you do naturally. People commend them, people see them. It's so active inside of you. And then sometimes you see people, they just pursue only their primary talent. They just pursue it. Oh, I'm a singer. They just pursue singing. They leave every other thing. Oh, I write code. I'm a software engineer. They pursue it. They don't do every other thing. But for you to be able to survive in this time, you must be able to make use of both your primary, secondary, and tertiary talent. You must be able to make use of your primary, secondary, and tertiary talent. The secondary talent, they may not look so strong. It is required of you to develop it. It is required of you to develop it. Remember the parable of talent. He gave one five, gave one two, he gave one one. One are usually buried. The tertiary talent, which is one, are usually buried. People usually bury it. People usually don't invest it, they don't make use of it. But if you want to survive in this economy, you must make sure that you are making use of every of your talents. I don't know whether you are following. Are you catching values? Are you getting stuffs? Check yourself. Ask yourself those questions. What are my primary talents? What are my tertiary talents? And what are my secondary talents? If you have missed any of this, you can actually look up my previous video where I talked about where I talk about the categories of talent for wealth creation. Categories of talent for wealth creation. You are going to see where you can actually understand which one is your primary talent, which one is your secondary talent, and which one is your tertiary talent. Yes, this will help you to be able to utilize yourself to the maximum. To be able to utilize yourself to the maximum. So now we're going to look at now how do you survive in this economy. Now I'm going to be sharing with us four key ways to survive in this economy, four key strategies for you to survive in this economy. I want you to get your pen, I want you to get your writing material ready. So I hope you have gotten your pen ready. So we're going to be looking at how to survive this economy. Number one thing is to have a multiple, to have is to have a recurrent income, have a recurrent income, a steady income, a steady income, have a steady income, recurrent income. What do I mean by a recurrent income? Something that comes in every month. It may be 5,000 salary, it may be your salary, it may be that business you open. So it's something that comes in every month. Every month you are sure that money comes in. So if you want to survive this time around, please have a recurrent income, something that comes in regularly. It is steady. You know at the end of the month is going to come in. You know that at the end of the day you are going to sell in your shop, you are going to sell in your business. So have a steady income, have a recurrent income. Number one is have a recurrent income. Have something you are doing, no matter how small, no matter how small. Don't sit idle. Don't sit don't sit doing nothing. Have something that gives you money. So number one is have a recurrent steady income. Have a recurrent income. Have a recurrent income. It's going to help you. Number two, have a multiple non-scheduled income. Have a multiple non-scheduled income. Now, I will explain. What do I mean by multiple non-scheduled income? That means it's not something that income comes in on a regularly basis. Let's take, for instance, you are selling a third party product. For those of you that are, let's say you are selling all these healthcare products, and then somebody can one day ask you for it. It may not come in regularly, but whenever you sell something, you are going to make extra 3K, extra 5K. It's a multiple non-scheduled income. You cannot It's not something that you say that comes in on a monthly basis, but from time to time it's going to come in. So one of the first thing to do to have a multiple non-scheduled income is to have a third party product. A third party product. Number two, have a core service you provide. For instance, you have a data analysis skill. You can actually be something that people know you. They know that, oh, this guy provides data analysis. So when people have their data, they can always send it to you to analyze for them. When students are graduating, for instance, final year students are doing their projects, they are looking for people to analyze their data for them. So you can have a core service you are providing. So service can be house cleaning. You from maybe on weekend you clean, you do a dry cleaning, you get clothes, you wash them for people, and you return them. It is different from your steady income. It is different from your daily grind. It is something that comes in once in a while. Then under this multiple non-scheduled income, be known for something. Let there be something that people know you for. Now, for some of you here now, once you want to buy data, there is somebody that comes into your mind because you know the person has been putting it on their status. Once you want to buy shoe, there is somebody that sells shoe. For those of you that are following me, know that I sell shoes. On my status, I always put up shoe. So be known for something. Be known for something. There's a guy we call Chimes that every time he's putting AI job. So once you want to know anything about AI, he comes into your mind. Be known for something. It can be known, oh, on commerce. So that once parents are looking for somebody who's going to do a private lesson for their children, you come to mind. Be known for something. Let there be something you are known for. Don't say, what will people say? Your status, your social medias are meant for you. What do I say? Your social media status is for you. It's for you to sell your product. Let people know you for something you do. You know how to do Zobo, put it on your status. You know how to do cake, put it for something. Let people begin to associate you with that product. Once people begin to associate you with that product, it is a multiple non-scheduled income. Once they need it, whether it is 12 midnight, they are going to look for you. Whether it is 1 a.m., they are going to look for you because you're already known for that. So make sure you have a third party product, you have a service you are providing, and that you are known for something. Let there be something you are known for. That is how to survive in this economy. That is how to survive. The next thing to do is to collaborate. Have a stake on something that is growing. Have a stake, collaborate with people. Let's take, for instance, you can code, and you know that you can partner with an organizations that have the visibility, and the organization will give you the visibility you need. Partner with them, get a share in the company, and then sell the product. Let them market it. Let them use their visibility. Let them use their influence. So have a stake in something that is working. Co-own something. Co-own something. Partner with somebody, investment, collaborations, or even co-owning a product. So partnership is a way out in this time we find ourselves. Partner. So we're talking about partnership, collaborating with people. So this will actually give you a leverage in this economy. The next one is to have an open cap income. Open cap income is something that you have developed that if God decide to bless you, oh my, if God decide to bless you, it's like it's like there is no lead to the amount of money you can make from it. For instance, let's talk about land banking. You can with a group of friends collaborate with a group of friends and buy a piece of land, and then you know that land appreciates. So land is something that has an open cap income. A land that you bought for 1.5 million, can the next 6 months that land can decide to be selling for 5 million. Is true. So get into land banking. You can bank in land. Land can become your savings, an open cap income. So you can collaborate with your friends, and then it's something that you can get involved. Number two, you can write books. Books is an open cap income. For instance, the book you have written, your state may decide to adopt it. What if your state decide to make the book you have written to become an open cap income? That means in one day, let's take for instance that your book is sold for 2,000, and in one day you are selling 10,000 copies of that book or 50,000 copies of that book because so many schools have started demanding the book. Maybe so. Do you know how much you are going to make? So it's an open cap income. It's there is no lead, there is no cover, there is no cover to it. It's something that can blow up in one day. Apart from writing a book, you can create a course like this webinar I'm doing now. I'm going to put it on YouTube. Maybe one day somebody may come up, somebody may make reference to this, and then people will start paying for it. So you can create a course, selling it for 20,000 naira, and you leave it there. One day, people will start demanding for that course. So start creating your course. So start investing in things that you know that presently may not give you money, but if God decides to bless you, you can be a millionaire in one day. It is an open cap income. So write that book. So start that blog. Do you know that it is that blog that somebody may see tomorrow and invite you for a program? Somebody will say, I have seen her speak. Oh, have you been speaking before? Yes, somebody say, yes, I've seen her speak. And then somebody may see your YouTube video and then they will invite you for that program. And then you begin to live that life you want to live. So, an open cap income, begin to do something that will pay you, may not pay you immediately, but will pay you in the future. It is an open cap income. An open cap income. Then the next thing to do in this to survive in this economy is that you have to have a growth mindset. A growth mindset. A growth mindset. Don't have a fixed mindset. Have a growth mindset. Now, real money is made in the mind. I used to tell people that money is not it's not as a result of the amount of money in your bank account. It's not the size of your boss, but the size of your mind. The size of your mind. The size of your mind. It's not the size of your bank account, but the size of your mind. So real money is made in the mind. Real money is made in the mind. Growth mindset believes that it has the capacity to generate what it needs. You don't, when you have a growth mindset, you're not depending on people. Do you know that there are people that used to say, God created you because of me? So they live a dependent life. They live a parasitic life. They believe that without people they cannot survive. Once they have problem, they begin to think people. These are people that have fixed mindset. Fixed mindset. Once there is problem, the first people that comes into their mind, I'm going to call that uncle. I'm going to call that auntie. So once you see their message, you know it is money. These people have a fixed mindset. But if you have to survive in this economy, you must have a growth mindset. Growth mindset. What is growth mindset? It's a mindset that thinks within. It's a mindset that believes I have solution to every of my problem. It looks within first. It looks inside first before looking on the external. It focuses on the internal rather than focusing on the external. So when you see people who think those thoughts, when you see people who think those thoughts, they have a growth mindset. Whenever you have a need, the first question should be, what can I do? Not who can I call. When you have a need, the first question should be, what can I do? What can I do? Not who can I call. That's the first questions. That's the first question you are going to ask. It's not who do I call now? No, 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 no. You have to focus on yourself first. Whenever you have a challenge, what is your thought like? To have a growth mindset, you need to think people, you need to think people, you need to think needs, you need to think numbers. Those who have growth mindset, they think people, they think needs, they think numbers. Those who have growth mindset, they think people, they think needs, they think numbers. And if you must survive in this economy, if you must survive in a time like this, you must think people, you must think needs, you must think numbers. You must think people, you must think needs, you must think numbers. So what do I mean by thinking needs? What do I mean by thinking people? And what do I mean by thinking numbers? So to have a growth mindset, you must think needs, you must think people, and you must think numbers. So what what will keep you afloat in a time like this. So when I say think needs, do you know that everybody have a need? I have a need, you have a need. So once you are able to leverage on people's needs, you are going to have money in a time like this. Yes. Have you ever asked somebody to give you money and the person tell you I don't have money, and yet you see the person buying ice cream, yet you see the person buying shoes, see the person buying a new phone. It doesn't mean the person does not have money, but it means presently I don't have the ones to give to you. So, but by the time you begin to think about the needs of people, you are not going to be a parasite, you're going to be a solution provider. Once you begin to think, what problem does my friend have? What problems are around me? What problems are around my society? What problems are around my estate? You begin to think the needs that are found in your environment. So, to survive, begin to think needs. Are you a lesson teacher? Do you teach in a school? Begin to think needs. What need does my school have? What need does my school have that I can solve? What solution can I provide? What solution can I provide? And by the time you begin to think needs, you will naturally get ahead. Now, let me share with this. Those who think needs naturally get ahead in an organization. Now, when you have a supervisor who is ahead of you, don't think, how is this man going to resign? How are they going to sack this man? Let me take over. No. Think on projecting your supervisors. Those who think needs know how to project their supervisors. They know how to push in to make their supervisors to be on top. Now, I'll give you an instance. When your supervisor take you to a board meeting, and then when you come back, you take notes, you do everything, and then before the man says, before the man is trying to prepare for the minutes of the meeting, you tell him, sir, I already have the minutes of the meeting, and you give it to the man. If you are the person, when you are going for the next meeting, who are you going to take? So people who think needs are always ahead. You think the needs of the organizations, you think solutions to them, you will be naturally ahead. Number two, think people. Those who think people are those who are going to survive in this economy. The money you need is in the pocket of people. Stop thinking about money. The money you need is in the pocket of people. Yes, the money you need is in people's pockets. So develop people's skills, ability to understand that the money you need is in people's pockets. So begin to think people. Number three, begin to think numbers. What is the population of the people in your city? How much money is being spent in the area of your interest? Begin to think numbers. Begin to think numbers. I was listening to Sam Adeyemi one certain time when he was speaking, and then he did a calculation. He said, how much money is being spent on food by people? Let's say that a plate of food is sold for 1,000 naira. Now, and then let's say there are 20,000 persons, or let's say there are 1 million persons. Now, how much do you think is being spent on food in just Lagos alone? You can see that it is close to 1 billion naira is being spent on food, for instance, which is modern. So by the time you begin to think numbers, you can begin to understand and begin to think, how do I leverage on this in this area that I want to venture into. So begin to think numbers, do the math, do the calculation. Check, you are a tailor. Check how many schools do you have in the area of in the that means you're looking at the education sector. Check how many schools, and then you can begin to write proposals in different when you to different schools, telling them, oh, I'm a tailor, and before you know it, you are thinking numbers. Let's say in your city that there are 1,000 schools. You could imagine that 1,000 schools multiplied by the number of the students. Let's say that each of the schools have 100 pupils. So multiply the 100 by the 1,000. It gives you an idea of the niche. It gives you an idea of what is happening in that area. So begin to think people, begin to think needs, begin to think numbers if you want to survive in a time like this. So I've shared with you a little secret, and in our next webinar, and I know you wouldn't miss it, we're going to be talking about where una dey see this money, places to find money, places to find money. Yes, that will be our next webinar. Don't miss it for anything. And I hope to get to hear from you soon. If you have any feedback, you can drop it on the comment section. You can drop your question in the comment section. Thank you so much for joining us in the Pharaoh and Joseph strategies. And I know you have gotten some wisdom that will keep you ahead. I know you have gotten some wisdom that will keep you making it, keep you succeeding, keep you progressing. Thank you and see you in our next webinar. The June webinar is where una dey see this money. Thank you and have a beautiful evening. Bye bye.